is no mistake. He has struggled for 4 years to turn his spare time enthusiasm into a serious business. What he has tried to do is to capture the intriguing effect he'd noticed in that vibrating boiler pipe and use it to create a totally new water heater, one that works without any heat source. His company now produces what amounts to a well-engineered water hammer. It thumps and smashes the water fed into it and raises the temperature to boiling point or to steam in a matter of seconds to replace household or industrial boilers. Now, they happen to call these machines pumps.
What we have is a hydrosonic pump that has a rotor located inside. It's a cylinder that has holes bored in it at specific angles and depths, ranging from a few hundred holes up to a few thousand, depending on whether we're going to make hot water or steam.
The key to the machine seems to be the number and the design of the holes in the rotor. Briggs has experimented with many different combinations to get the best results. The rotor fits tightly into a steel chamber with only a very small gap between the two. Water is fed into the gap and the rotor is spun rapidly by a small electric motor. As it spins, the water is pummeled and hammered through the holes. In seconds it flows out of the cylinder as hot water or steam. What's so extraordinary about such an ordinary-looking machine is the claim that it is more than 100% efficient. More energy has been measured coming out in the form of heat or steam than the electrical energy needed to turn the rotor. The term for this is overunity. Scientifically, this is supposed to be impossible because it overturns the fundamental law of conservation of energy. It says you cannot get something for nothing. And yet, external observers claim to have measured here up to 70% more energy out than in.
Today we will speak about Overunity. And this time I'm going to show you the Overunity Motor Generator by Alex Horng. The patent is actually called Motor with Power Generating Coil Set. And that would be the correct name, I would say. But Overunity Motor Generator would mean the same meaning. Yeah. On my left side you can see the image of this beautiful coil set. And now I will show you briefly how this patent looks like in front of my face. So it's really an interesting design and it's very simple. So motor and generator in the compact design that we use a motor to let's say spin the rotor, and then we use the force of inertia to spin to use it on the generator or the pickup coil set. So that's the case in the end. Yeah. So you will see it's really interesting. So now you can see a short animation before me, and this is the animation of this beautiful, amazing generator with see-through that you can see without, and you can see that I will have to explain on the big screen on the left what is going on there, but it's really simple, and I like this design. There are several such motor generators on my YouTube channel. You can search for them, but this one had caught my eye. So let's get now to the big screen and explain why is it so interesting. Okay, so this is the deal. So now you can see that this blue outside which is spinning, it's the rotor, and on the rotor are somehow fixed those permanent magnets. Yeah? So, and each second is with a different magnetic pole. Yeah? So it's set in this way. And why is it so? On this coil, on the staplers, you see them, many of them, they are arranged each different so that we can get alternate current output on it. Yeah? So let's say the primary coil and the secondary coil. So how would this work? So how did this inventor think that we can get Overunity in such a system? So it's very simple. For example, this inner set of coils would be our motor coils. So we would, let's just wait for a moment that it turns around. So we would lead the current through this internal coil set, and then we would, let's say, move these magnets so that the complete rotor set can spin. So this is how motor works, every motor, every electrical motor. And then as we see that we have on the outside coil, let's say with the bigger circumference, yeah, we have also the set of magnets and more coils, and that would be our pickup coil, and the pickup coil would be used as a generator. So on this, let's say, inner side would be a motor, and on this outer side, so this with more circumference, would be our pickup coil or generator. So the idea is simple. So the energy which we take to spin this, we spend on these coils to rotate and to move these magnets would be much less, or at least a little bit less, than the energy produced by these permanent magnets on these secondary coils. And that would produce overunity. So this is how any Overunity motor generator should work. And what can I say? Do I believe this works? Not really, because we have but it might work, because there is in some patent, it's called inertia constant generator. So because this is a huge, now let's say, imagine this is a very, very big motor, and it has, let's say, almost perfect bearings on this main shaft where it's spinning, yeah? And because we would, let's say, speed up this motor to turn, and this huge wheel would have some inertia. So inertia is the, let's say, potential energy or kinetic energy available on this rotor, so that when we activate those secondary coils which pick up the electric current, the system wouldn't stop so easily, because we have already a momentum and the force created by the spinning of the motor. So yeah, it's really hard to say. We would have to check to see if this can work in reality, but basically this is how every Overunity motor generator works. Well, what can I say about this motor with power generating coil? So this is how every Overunity motor generator should look like. At least this is the very simple design, where you have a huge rotor on which you have the primary coils, which is the motor, and the secondary coil, which is the pickup coil, or it is generator. So this is very, very simple design, and it should create Overunity, at least on the minimum basis, because of this force of inertia, which is created by kinetic energy while the rotor is spinning. So this is my conclusion.